Hello and welcome to Lofty Pursuits and Public Displays of Confection in Tallahassee, Florida. I'm Greg, and today Uri is going to make some fruit drops, and in this case chocolate fruit drops on this beautiful machine. It was made by Thomas Mills in the late 1800s. And yes, we're making candy on a machine that's almost 150 years old, and we do it every day. I've always thought of myself as more of a caretaker of this equipment than an owner. I find comfort in knowing that down the line, when I'm gone, somebody else will be making candies with this machine, for customers like you. The pot you see being poured is nothing but sugar that's been flavored with strawberry, but what we're going to do now is a special flavor that we make between Valentine's Day and Easter. We make a chocolate and fruit assortment of drops. Now, what makes this different is the chocolate itself. Have you ever had a chocolate hard candy and it didn't quite taste right? It didn't quite taste of chocolate, and there's two reasons for this. One, chocolate in its purest form is a powder or a paste, and you're not getting the mouthfeel that chocolate gives you. It's a texture as well as a flavor. The red you see here that we put citric acid in is there to differentiate it from the other flavors, which will be orange in chocolate, mango in chocolate, and raspberry in chocolate. The chocolate makes the candy opaque, and for you to identify what flavor it is, we want to put a bright stripe, a bright color in it. Uri has put the cocoa powder into the candy itself. And this is different than other hard candies. It's not chocolate flavored. We actually have chocolate in it, and your mouth can tell. The problem with cocoa powder is by itself, it's not going to taste chocolatey, it's going to taste cocoa-y. But if you cook it to the right temperature, and this is where the masterful trick goes in, the candy is hot here, well over 200 degrees. We're cooking the candy as we pull it on the hook. And we have to pull it on the hook, as the cocoa doesn't want to stick to the sugar itself. It's actually making planes of cocoa powder in here, sort of like butter in a strudel when you pull that dough. But the problem is, unlike strudel, butter doesn't want to fly everywhere and cover the entire store in chocolatey goodness. Please don't ask how I know this. Now, as the candy is pulled, air bubbles are trapped and the air bubbles reflect light. In most cases, we're making an amber candy white. In this case, we're making the chocolate lighter and more reflective. It looks almost like some sort of satin when we do this. And that's going to create more air bubbles so the candy will dissolve faster in your mouth, as well as look better, and it's going to contrast well against the stripes, so you'll know what flavor you get. And of course, if we didn't do it this way, we'd end up with lumps of cocoa powder, and that wouldn't be pleasant. This is how we mix it perfectly, every time. Do you want to know what this candy tastes like for yourself? You can go to our website, www.pd.net, and try it right now. But before you go, click on subscribe and click on the bell, and subscribe to our channel here. In this technique, we're building stripes of candy, but we don't build them like we build candy canes. We're building them on a flat sheet and tapering them down to make the stripes super thin. We want at least one stripe to show up on every piece of candy so you can identify it, and that happens most of the time. Sometimes you get a piece of candy that's just a big surprise. Notice how thick we're making the candy, and I mean thick as in deep, into the cocoa powder section. If the cocoa powder part wasn't reflective, we wouldn't get stripes that would look anything different than black. The light would go through the red and would just stop there. We need the light to bounce back out to give this candy its color. We also have a problem with heat. We need a little cooler to go through the press. So he's cutting these pieces in advance, and he's letting them cool on a cool portion of the table before he puts them in our drop roller. I'd like to give a shout out to our Patreon subscribers who at a certain level of sponsorship get rush shipping with every order and a free sampler bag of something we're experimenting with each order. These videos wouldn't be here without their help, and we really appreciate them. And we really do appreciate them. That's why you don't hear me talking about VPNs or the latest tool or this thing for your kitchen, or as somebody last week tried to get me to do, demonstrate a mascara. I almost regret saying no to that one. And I don't regret saying no to somebody who was trying to sell me food that would last for 100 years in case of who knows what. So thanks to the Patreons that have spared us all of this. The cooling table has been doing its job, and it's been cooling this candy, and they're now getting hard. And that lets us do the next thing. Break them into pieces. And how do we get them into pieces? Well, of course. These are chocolate fruit drops. We drop them. This was the last of our 4 flavors. We have strawberry and chocolate, mango and chocolate, orange and chocolate, raspberry and chocolate. And now we have to mix them. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it. Subscribe to us here and ring the bell. Follow us on Facebook or Instagram. Take a look at our website at www.pd.net. You can order this candy for yourself. And if you're ever in Tallahassee, we're right off I-10 in the Thomasville Road exit. We make candy a lot, but not all the time. And if you're lucky, you can catch us making candy. Thank you again for watching.